Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Today is the today is the last episode with six series of national talk on the topic nutrition self-management during pandemic. This virtual series of national talk starting from 25 May up to today for June 2021. This virtual series of National Talk is organized by the Fit India Campaign Committee and Fit India Club of Manipur University as a part of Fit India movement during this COVID-19 second wave pandemic. Well, in these occasions, let me welcome each one of you present over here. So first of all, I would like to extend my warm welcome to the panelists. Firstly, I would like to welcome today's speaker, Miss Ikta Kundu Kwa Nutris Bangalore. I welcome you, Miss, and I thank you so much for your heart kind attention and heart kind accepted our invitation to be present here as a speaker. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Miss. So secondly, I would like to have warm welcome to the moderator, Professor T. Navi Singh, Dean, School of Education, Manipur University. I welcome you, sir, as a moderator for this session. And I would like to welcome respected Dr. K. Subita Devi, Assistant Professor, Department of Teacher Education, Manipur University. I welcome you, Madam, as a co-moderator for this session. And especially, I would like to extend my warm welcome each one of you present over here, all invitees, learned member, teaching staff, faculty, or non-teaching staff, and students, and listener and viewers, and especially I welcome Mami TV also. So well, we have to proceed our programs ahead. So I would like to request today co-moderator, Dr. K. Subita Devi, Assistant Professor, Department of Teacher Education, Manipur University, to have highlight some of the brief profile of the today's speaker, Ms. Ikta Kundu. Please, ma'am. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, Sir Santos, for giving me this opportunity. Well, a very good morning and a very warm welcome to everyone present here on this last day of virtual series of national talks organized by Fit India Campaign Committee and Fit India Club Manipur University. Today's topic is on nutrition, self-management during pandemic. We all are aware about having nutritious food is the most important aspect of healthy life. Today's topic is very important and relevant during this COVID-19 pandemic situation because during this pandemic situation, most of the people suffering from anxiety, sorrow, grief, inactive, and are not well conscious about nutritious diet plans which may lead to unhealthy life. Today, we have a very well qualified, specialized, and professional nutritionist and dietitian, Ms. Ekta Kundu. She is a qualified nutritionist holding her BSc degree in Food Science and Nutrition from State University and MSc degree from Pondicherry Central University. And she has interned in a very reputed hospital of Kolkata, AMRI, in clinical nutrition and dietetics. Her interest lies in the management of lifestyle diseases and health issues. Currently, she is working as a nutritionist with Quad Nutrition, Bangalore, and she feels having good nutrition also helps to have a sound soul, health, and mind. And she has worked with Mr. Ryan, with elite swimmers like Bidrawal Khade, Neil Roy. And she has also planned nutrition guidelines for Kajal Agrawal as well. She has also successfully conducted online awareness camps on nutrition and spread its importance. She believes it is her sole responsibility to listen, understand, and emphasize with a person's lifestyle and provide solutions to it. We need motivation for everything in life to stay focused. And she believes in a healthy outside starts from the inside. Further, she is also a certified diabetes educator. Today, Ms. will provide us very useful, systematic, and applicable information about nutritious and healthy diets to be maintained during this critical pandemic situation. Over to you, Sir Santosh. Thank you.
Thank you, madams. Very nicely highlighting the profiles of the today's speaker, Ikta Kundu. Thank you, madam. So now I'd like to request to the moderator, Professor T. Nauvi Singh, Dean School of Education, to have sessions for this nutrition self-management. Please hand over to the session to our moderator, Professor T. Nauvi. Please, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Santos. All of you are so welcome, and thank you very much for giving us such an opportunity. So, the first series of national talks organized by Manipur University, the India Campaign Committee, and the India Club. We bring for you the sixth topic, management during pandemic. It will be presented by Ms. Kunda Kundu. Now, nutrition management during pandemic. Please do start.
A very good morning to each and everyone who is present over here. I think there is.
Good morning, Miss.
Okay. I didn't know because I think there is some little network connection issue. Okay. So thank you everyone from Manipur University for giving me this opportunity to be present in front of everyone and then speak about nutrition. So I'll just start with sharing my screen. Is my screen sharing happening? Okay. So thank you everyone from Manipur University for giving me.
Yes, ma'am. You can start your sharing slide.
Everyone can see my screen, right?
Yes, Miss.
Yes, Miss.
Okay, all right. Okay. So thank you everyone for joining this session because today's session is very much important. Why is it really, really important? Firstly, why are we really talking about nutrition, food, how to manage, and all of those things? So, in a 24-hour in a day, we do a lot of things, right? We study, we basically spend time with our family, we do something for our entertainment, etc., etc. But tell me honestly, how many times do you eat in a day? You eat maybe like 5 times, 6 times, maybe more than that. Also, you are at home, you really have so much of time. So how can nutrition be neglected? Obviously, it cannot be, right? Nutrition is equally very, very, very much important, just like your study, your career, your entertainment, and any other aspect of your life, which you give so much of importance to. So likewise, nutrition is also another aspect which definitely should be looked upon. So yes, here we are talking about nutrition, how you should be really taking care of yourself during this pandemic. And then during this pandemic, the importance of nutrition have even gone really higher because everybody cannot at the first place go to a doctor. Neither everybody do not want to go to a doctor because everybody first want to try some home remedies, right? So yes, that is why also nutrition is very much important. So Yes, so this is me. So this is me. I am a nutritionist. I am a certified diabetes educator. I am also a certified nutrigenomics counselor and a clinical specialist. So yes, we deal with a lot of people on a daily basis who come up with a lot of their medical issues, their overall health, fitness, sports, etc. And yes, we have to work with them accordingly. Okay. So basically, what is wellness? Okay. A state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of any diseases or infirmity. That is given. That is the explanation which is given by the World Health Organization. So, what does this mean? This basically means that health is not something where you do not have a disease. Okay, health is not something where you do not see any your deranging parameters, or where there is no disease, where you do not have to go to the doctor. That is not something which you can call as your good well-being. A good well-being also very much means like how you are physically, mentally, and socially. I mean, what I mean is like physically you should be fit. I mean, you should have a good amount of muscle in your body, lesser amount of fat. You should not be overweight and all of those things. Then, from the mental perspective, you should be at peace. There should not be any stress, hanging over your head, and then you should not be lost when you are in a social platform. So all of these things basically contribute to your overall well-being. That is something which we call as a wellness. Okay, that is the overall well-being of a person. So where does nutrition play a role over here? The act or process of nourishing or being nourished. This is what is called nutrition. Nutrition just does not mean that having food regularly and having food on time. You should also know what is the kind of the food, what is the kind of the nutrients which are going to your body, which is going to help you to do your daily jobs. And that differ very much from a person to person. It cannot be the same kind of nutrition for each and every person. In a family of like 4 members, 4 of the members can have different kind of nutrition, because that is custom based. That is only for you, and that cannot be shareable with any other person. Because just for an example, like when you go to a tailor, obviously you ask them for giving your waist, hip, neck measurements, etc., etc. And then obviously you give them a customized measurement for yourself. So that is when the tailor is going to make a particular dress only for you, which maybe another person may not fit into the thing. So this is what nutrition also is all about. Like your nutrition is only suited to your body, your requirements, and how your body's metabolism and all of that. And it cannot really suit to any other person. So now, obviously, coming to a nutrition, what is the general guideline? Like having a balanced diet. You must be knowing about the balanced diets in school and all of that. But you really have to think, are you really implementing it in the correct way? So a balanced diet does not really mean having your carbohydrate, protein, and fat. It also means like the carbohydrate, protein, fat are your macronutrients, where you look at a food in the bigger picture. But what is the smaller picture? The smaller picture are the nutrients which are going to channelize its macronutrients, which are basically your microminerals and your vitamins, like your calcium, zinc, magnesium, selenium, all of these things. Then in your vitamins, there is range of vitamins coming in, all your colorful fruits, vegetables, all of this comes into the vitamins category. And most important thing, the sixth most important factor is your water. So the balanced diet clearly has a combination of all of these things. Carbohydrate comes from your rice, then your potatoes, then your pasta, then your wheat, then all your millets, all of these things. Protein, it comes from your all your non-vegetarian sources. And if you are a vegetarian, don't think that you can be lack of a protein source. You have your dal, you have your sprouts, you have your milk as a source of your protein. In your healthy fats, okay, so choosing your right kind of fats is very much important. The requirement of fat does not mean that I will get the fat from a burger or a pizza. No, the right kind of fat comes from your natural sources like your almonds, then or your walnuts, then you have your fatty fishes, then your like the healthy oils, all of these things combine in the healthy fats. And as I said, the vitamin combines in all your colorful fruits and vegetables. Then similarly, all the minerals also come in small portion in all your nuts and all of those things. Okay. And lastly, the water, which we all at some point of time generally forget to have. So, how are you going to really plate your meal on a daily basis? How are you going to make sure that, okay, these are the nutrients, these are the macro and the micronutrients which are going on a daily basis? Firstly, half a plate should be of greens. Half a plate, one-fourth of the plate should be of your pulses, like your meat, eggs, or the protein, and one-fourth of the plate should be your vegetables. Okay, an optimum intake of fat, of course, the oils, good amount of oil needs to be used for all the cooking purpose. And also, it doesn't mean that you have to forget all the oil. No, I have to go fat free. That is also not really good. So anything in a particular quantity or a measurement is really something which is important. You have to take on a daily basis. 4 to 6 teaspoons of oil in any kind of a preparation in your overall intake of the day is totally healthy to take. Okay, and lastly, the water. On an average, you should be meeting around 3 to 3.5 liters of water. Why really are we talking about water? Because water is something which is going to channelize all the nutrients to the right places in the body. The fluidity of the blood is because of water. Okay, it is also going to detoxify your body, clean up your system, take out all the toxins from the body. It is also going to help you with constipation. Just for a very simple experiment, drink enough water in a day. You will see that the next day your motions are really good, and you will be like dehydrated for like 1 week, 2 weeks. You will definitely see that you are constipated. Your poop not coming properly. You are going to really exert hard to get your poop coming out of the body. And not only this, it is also going to help you with lessen of your migraines. Okay, if anybody has a migraine attack very frequently, try drinking more and more amount of water. That is going to supply more amount of glucose into the brain so that the brain works properly. So this all of these are the very basic functions of water, and that is what something we all basically neglect on a daily basis. So yes, 8 to 10 glasses of water to be consumed in a day generally. You can go even more than this if you are a fitness person, go for your workouts, running, walking, etc. So the more water you drink, the more your body is going to feel hydrated. Okay. All right. Now, moving ahead, concept of fat diet. Like now we all are at home, so we all must be seeing a lot of information out there, a lot of fancy diets coming out there. Somebody getting fit in 1 month, 2 months, getting abs, ribs, etc. So one thing I would like to, aware a lot of people here that what are basically fat diets. If you are doing something which is really off from what you are doing currently, how it is really going to affect you, and are they results oriented? Are they really going to give you results in a shorter period of time? Are you having a shorter term of the goal or a longer term of the goal? So it's really important that you understand what is a fat diet and what is sustainable eating. Only then you are able to plate your meal and balance your meals properly. So the first thing which comes in a fat diet is basically they are too restrictive. That means like you are often getting restricted to a lot of nutrients which you should be having on a daily basis. You are just looking at the bigger picture, only losing weight or maybe standing on the scale and seeing the scale drop, only that much, and you are looking at the whole point with a calorie restriction diets. So a lot of people go on a very high fat keto diet, this diet, paleo diet, and all of those things. So you can do it. There is no problem, but you should be taking the help of a professional before doing it. So just to make you aware that before trying a fat diet, which is a very fancy diet, you should always take a professional help. Secondly, you could be devoid of some essential nutrients because the fat diets mostly look at a calorie restriction, lesser carbohydrate, higher protein, higher fat, and all of those things. It doesn't really look at the micro minerals or micronutrients. So always take proper guidance while doing these kind of diets because it could be risky and it may not be sustainable on a long term. Okay. The third thing. The third thing is basically you can be devoid of the seasonal ingredients, because these diets does not really include a lot of carbohydrates. So because of which you are devoid of the seasonal fruits and vegetables and a lot of things like that. So you really need to think before starting on a fancy diet. So this awareness is very important, and it should reach to everyone who is wanting to start and go over to a very short-term diet, quick results, and all of those things. Okay. The third thing is they are not really sustainable. So you might see somebody on the social media and think like, okay, they are doing so much. I will also start doing the same thing. I will also get results. I'll also lose weight, get fit, and all of those things. You may not know that you must be screwing up your body in some other way. You might get into a very serious disorder which you might not be knowing in the first place. So it's very important that always look at what exactly it is and proper research with proper guidance. Do any sort of a fad diet or a very different kind of a diet. Okay, and the last thing could be there could be unhealthy weight fluctuations. You might be losing weight in a very quick amount of time, but you will see that when you are going to shift to a regular pattern, there will be weight fluctuations. Okay, so this is basically a diet cycle. Like you start the diet, you restrict yourself, then you deprive, then you crave for something which you have really, stopped eating for the last few months, and then you give up, and then you lastly feel guilty. Then at the end of it, you just think that last month or last year I was really fit, but now I am really not at all fit, or maybe I have gained back all the lost weight, and all of these things come into you, and then you get into a stress and all of those things, kind of a situation. So it's very important that before starting any sort of a fancy diet, always take professional help. Do not really do it, because we all are at home and we all are looking at so much of information out there in the social media. So obviously we start thinking that maybe we should also give it a try. Do it, but with a professional help. Do not really do it on your own without any proper research. Okay, so then what is basically a sustainable eating? And this is not only due to the pandemic, but or the because we are working from home or we are more at home. This is also a general thing that variety is the key. As I mentioned in the first, like plate your meal with all the macro and the micronutrients. So you need to include all your seasonal fruits, vegetables, and not really look at one nutrient, or maybe focusing more on only the carbohydrate or only the protein. So you need to plate your meal properly, proportionately with all the macro and micronutrients. So variety is the key. Second is portion control. Now, with the variety, it does not also mean that you will just go on eating and eating. So portion sizing, like half a portion of carbohydrate, 1/4 of the protein, and 1/4 of any sort of a vegetable. And then there are fruits, there are nuts, all your healthy fats, and all of that. So portion control is very, very much important. Okay, so here is a small sort of a guideline that a cup of fruit, a spoon of cheese in a dish, one serving of meat, fish, or poultry, 2-3 servings of nuts in everyday eating is kind of a general guideline for a healthy serving size. Okay, this should be for everyone, whether you are in pandemic, not pandemic, working from home, not working from home. But this is a very general guideline which each and every person should be following, so as to maintain a healthier lifestyle and avoid all the diseases. Now, very simple guideline how you can really do it very quickly. So one fist is basically your rice or pasta or fruits or vegetables. So this is a basically a hand guideline. The second one is palm of the hands, like 3 ounces. That should be your meat, fish, poultry. Okay. Then small handful, like 1 ounce, should be coming from your nuts and raisins, like your dry fruits. Then 1 thumb should be coming from your peanut butter or hard cheese or any of the saturated fats. And then is like 1 teaspoon should be your cooking oil or sugar or mayonnaise or butter. Okay, and this is a rectified guideline. Okay, this is a recommended guideline, and this is any person should be following. In general also, you should not be focusing on more of the fist of one nutrient and just ignore the other nutrient. That's really not good. So do it this way. You can take a picture of it, or maybe you can ask for the presentation later on, but keep it with you for your lifetime. Yeah. Okay. So basically, what a sustainable diet looks like. a sustainable diet will always look like Okay, so a sustainable diet will always look like where it is including your seasonal fruits, it is also considering your well-being, it is also considering your workout sessions, your day-to-day jobs, whatever you are doing, you should be getting enough energy, you are not getting fatigued very often. If you are doing workout, you have enough stamina, you have endurance and all of those things, okay? Then what is like locally available at your place? Do not ever ignore the locally available fruits and vegetables because they have the highest nutrients based on the soil which you are basically in. So always take in all the local vegetables. You cannot, and it doesn't mean that whatever is exotic, like fruits and vegetables, what we get from outside is only the things which are healthy. Not really. Even the things which are grown in your own soil is really, really healthy. So never really ignore them. Okay, so that is what is called as a sustainable diet, which you can always follow. It should not be just for 3 months, 4 months, nothing like that. We should be follow it. It should be doable for the rest of your lifetime, right? So there is a rule called simple rule. So where S means small and frequent meals. Second is hydrate at intervals. Then munch on fruits and nuts. Keep a check on your portions and eat light. Okay, so what does this clearly mean? That you need to you do not really have to have a lot of food at one point of time because your body also have to digest everything. So have small and frequent meals, hydrate at intervals, keep reminders in your phones so that you do not miss out on the water intake. Then munch on the fruits and nuts, like keep a snack always ready at your hand so that you do not hung on the unhealthy snacks. So by this way, you are providing your body all the nutrients in small, small intervals and not really, putting a lot of pressure on the body, having a lot of food at one point of time. So break down your meals. That really helps in boosting your metabolism also. And also you do not hung on the unhealthy snacks at all. Okay, so avoid extras, tea, coffee, salty, sweet snacks. You can have it in a while, once in a while, but not on a daily basis. Why? Because they have a lot of unhealthy components which are going to hamper the overall digestion and metabolism of your body. You may not know now, but after a few years, or maybe in this pandemic, a lot of people have got really badly affected because of the wrong lifestyle like measurements which they take on a daily basis. So check on whatever you are doing on a daily basis and then correct them, right? Okay. So now the most important topic, like why is nutrition very much important during the COVID time, right? Because COVID time is such a time where everybody is talking about nutrition, what to eat, what not to eat, and there is a lot of information on the internet. So we dietitians have taken this awareness time that we should be telling the people what is right and what is wrong so that they do not go off track. They looking at all the information outside there and doing whatsoever and getting confused, right? So first thing, foods to boost your immunity. Amla. So amla is something which has around 600 mgs of vitamin C per 100 gram of the fruit. So amla is something which should be having, which should be there in your everyday routine because amla is really going to help you with all the vitamin C which your body requires to produce the WBC, which is the white blood cells, and hence fighting with the virus, right? In general, also, amla is very good for immunity. So even if you are not in the COVID, still you should be taking one serving of the amla every day. If not fresh amla, but amla juice. The second thing comes your turmeric. Why? Because turmeric is one of the major superfood which has anti-inflammatory and antibacterial and antifungal properties. So basically antimicrobial properties. So turmeric is something which should be there and it has the active component called curcumin. You should be taking it on a daily basis. And when I say turmeric, that does not mean the cooked amount of turmeric. It should be the raw turmeric added to any sort of a food. If you have nothing, just like put in 2-3 pinches of turmeric into water and just drink it. Even that is going to help you. And if you can get the raw turmeric from the market, you can just pound it, hand pound it, and just mix it with water and have it. That is going to really, really help you overall. The third thing, which is a very major thing, is beetroot. Why beetroot? Because beetroot helps in relaxing the blood vessels. It has one important component called nitrate, and that is going to help you dilating your blood vessels. So if you can have beetroot juice, that is the best. And during this COVID time, because obviously a lot of people are facing issue of lower oxygen uptake in the body, so please do include the beetroot on a daily basis so that your blood vessels are dilated, and that can have a better oxygen supply. The fourth thing is your garlic. Garlic has an active component of allicin, which again helps in boosting the immune system and again producing white blood cells in the body. So garlic again not in the cooked form but in the raw form. Any way which you like to, just having popping in one clove of garlic is going to really help you. Not only in that, but garlic is something which really helps in the heart diseases if anybody has it, or maybe in your family if anybody has it. So do tell them about the garlic. That is one of the major superfood you should be including on a daily basis. Okay. Now, this is from the food perspective. One important thing is the lifestyle, right? We are not only talking about the nutrition, but how are you going to make sure that your nutrition is effective with a better lifestyle, right? So, maintaining a balanced diet, wash your hands, get adequate rest, exercise, and hydrate. So you must be thinking that, okay, I am at home. How can I cannot go to a gym. How will I make sure that I exercise? Your home is nevertheless than a gym. I can give you many tips, many ideas where you can burn a lot of calories. So if you see, by washing dishes, you can burn around 88 calories. By sweeping the floor every day, you can burn around 156 calories. Mopping 170. Watering plants 102. And the best thing, skipping can give you 500 to 1000 kilocalorie of burning every day. So just by doing simple home jobs, you can do a lot of calorie burning. So don't think that you cannot go to a gym. That is why you cannot really work out. Even at home, you have all the leisure to work out. So do a lot of things at home so that at least you are making sure that you are not eating unhealthy, not making your lifestyle in a wrong way, and then maintaining healthy eating on a daily basis and calorie burn. So that is going to, and the more workout you will do, the more immunity boosting properties are going to secreted in the body. That will really help. So don't ignore your workout just because the gyms are closed right now. Okay. Now, a lot of things which surround, on the social media, that what are the COVID nutrition myths. I mean, there are a lot of information which is going around. So we take a chance to make you aware that what is right and what is wrong. Okay. Supplementing with vitamin C is going to protect you from the virus. Okay. So a lot of people think that just because if I take the vitamin C recommended by whomsoever on a daily basis, that is going to protect me from the virus. No, it is not really going to help you. No individual nutrient, food or supplement can really stop you from getting into the virus. Okay. Because if the virus have to attack you, that will affect you no matter what. Yes, with vitamin C, your body is going to have good immunity boosting properties to fight with the virus. But not only vitamin C, there are a lot of other factors which really matters. Suppose, for example, if you have diabetes or cholesterol, any other like disorders like that, and you are just taking the vitamin C, that is not really going to help you. So you have to take a holistic approach and not that one single nutrient going to help. So second thing is multivitamin. Again, a lot of people are taking zinc supplement, this, that, B complex, blah, blah. So again, not really one supplement is going to help you. Micronutrients, like vitamin D, C, zinc, magnesium, a lot of things are important for your overall immunity. And only a multivitamin supplement without knowing the dosage, what should be exactly the nutrient composition of the multivitamin, you cannot just take a random multivitamin. So that is again not really going to help. And currently, there is no guideline of a micronutrient supplement given to anybody. Okay, so do be aware of it because of like a lot of social media, they just say like take vitamin C, take multivitamin. Not really. So do check with the dosage, check with a doctor or a nutritionist what should be the dosage of it, because overdosing of it is also not really good to the body. Third thing, avoid curd and banana will prevent from contracting the virus. Not really. So a lot of people think that just because if I avoid the curd or banana, for that matter, like curd, it could be because these are cold foods. That is why maybe that will prevent me contracting the virus. Not really. The virus can still affect you. Nevertheless, banana is a very good food which has a lot of micronutrients like magnesium, potassium, tryptophan, etc. And curd is a very good food which has probiotics, good microorganisms for good gut health. So do not ignore them, or maybe ignoring them cannot really assure you that you are not going to get the virus. Third thing, avoiding roots and tubers. They are high in glucose. They say the virus feed on glucose. Yes, any sort of a microorganism feed on high glucose, but that does not mean that you have to avoid all your roots and tubers. There is no such guideline as such that you have to avoid all your roots and tubers or any particular food. All the foods are good in moderation, so do not really ignore them. Okay. The third thing, avoid chicken when you have been diagnosed with COVID-19. Yes, to some extent this is right, because chicken, it comes with a lot of hormones, antibiotics, etc., which you are not aware of. So that can hamper with the virus being inside your body. So that might affect you. But yes, if you are going to have a chicken broth or soup, actually that really helps you for the recovery. So maybe don't have the chicken in the form of like grilled option or a curry option, but yes, a very simple broth or a soup is really going to help you. So maybe that way, chicken is not, so this myth is basically 50% right and 50% wrong. So don't think that just because you have got the COVID-19, you have to avoid chicken completely. Okay. All right. The next thing is your vaccination guideline. What should be your guideline if you are going for the vaccination? Because now I think everybody is going to get vaccinated. So, like few people are getting a symptoms of like mild fever, body ache, and all of those things. So, pre-vaccination, eat very simple food, avoid spicy food, avoid exercises, okay, at that point of time, because your body is going to, because whenever you exercise, there are a lot of things which are basically secreted in the body because you exercise, a lot of inflammatory parameters and all of those things. So do not exert your body so much. Just be at rest, be at a normal heart rate, just doing whatever you like to, and then go for the vaccination. Don't overdose on vitamins and minerals just because you have seen in the social media that vitamin C, mineral, multivitamin, and all of that. Don't really take them too much. Just have normal food. Don't have too much of spicy. Okay. Second thing, post vaccination, have things which are very simple to digest. Things like green leafy vegetables, fruits, soups, khichdi, poha, like which are easily digestible by the body. Don't have too much of spicy, oily, and all of that stuff. Don't think that just because you have got the vaccination, so you should be celebrating going to have a pizza, burger, and all of those things. No, at least for 3 days you need to have very simple food, so that because your body is recognizing the dead virus inside the body. So that is why it's very important that you do not really exert a lot of things in your body. Just be at simple food guidelines. Just take rest, have enough sleep, water, and all of those things. Have fruits, soups, like which are like easily digestible, and which does not have a lot of spices and all that. So that's there. Things to avoid, yes, very majorly smoking, alcohol, caffeinated beverages, and vaccination on an empty stomach. So yes, always remember that do not really go on an empty stomach for the vaccination. Your body will not really have enough nutrients to cope up the first intake of the virus. So do have a good amount of breakfast and then you go for taking the virus, vaccination. And apart from that, avoid things like smoking, alcohol, because that again exerts the body with a lot of harmful chemicals which you do not really want. So then avoid Coca-Cola and all of this Pepsi and all of those things because they are caffeinated beverages. So try to avoid them, tea, coffee, and all of those things, so that your body has the minimum thing which it can easily digest and cope up with the whole situation of the vaccination. All right. Now, a lot of people during this COVID time having a lot of stress around them, maybe overthinking, thinking about like how to control, all the things which are happening around them. Not only that, like being at home, not meeting a lot of people, also are making them socially unactive, and that is increasing the anxiety and stress in their body. So for that, we have given you few recommendations which you can follow. Things like chamomile tea, which is a flower-based tea, your milk, then your walnuts and sunflower seeds. These are something which are very easy and doable, and it really, really helps you in managing your stress levels. So try them one at a time, just before you sleep in a day. Okay, so that is really going to help you in calming down your mind, managing your stress levels overall. Okay, now another thing which has also come up because we all are at home is the snacking behavior. Because of the unhealthy snacking behavior, a lot of people have gained weight, or maybe whatever they were at 1 year or 2 years ago, they are really seeing a change in their body composition. So here are few very simple examples to give you, like what you can have if you are really a snacky person. Maybe a fruit salad, a cucumber carrot with hummus or a avocado dip, then mixed dry fruits and nuts, eggs, fox nuts, then air popcorn, not with the oil one, yogurt, then you can also have a roasted corn, then boiled chana, sprouts. All of these things are a very low calorie snack which comes under 100 calories, okay? And if they do not really have a lot of carbohydrates or any or fats or like that, so you can easily have them if you are a person who really wants to snack on something, okay, and do not really go for an unhealthy snack which you do not really know what should be the calorie counting and all of those things. So that is where people go wrong. Actually, even without the whole situation of the pandemic and all that, like Indians are more inclined towards the snacking behavior. So you really need to know that what should be your healthy options so that you do not go off track while snacking, right? And lastly, how will you plan? So, firstly, plan a list in the beginning. Okay, buy groceries in advance. Don't really, think at the last time that, oh, what should I buy? Where should I have? And then what happens is like, and you end up eating whatever is there in front of your hands. So that should not be the case. So always plan a list so that you are able to manage everything. And of course, like you also have to take care from that perspective that you do not go unhealthy, do not get a disease or something like that, right? So always plan your list, buy groceries in advance, keep reminders in your phone that when you should be buying, what you should be buying, plan all of those things. Cook foods or boil etc in advance so that you can have it throughout the day or the week, like whatever can be, what is like easily not easily perishable, you can keep it in the fridge and always have it, take it out so that you again and again do not really think about making the food, right? Have timetables, make a list of do's and don'ts in a day so that you are not running out of time thinking how to plan it and all of that. Do it when you have, maybe on a Sunday or a Saturday, whenever you have a off. Okay, have at least 3 meals a day. Do not do kinds of like fancy diets or fat diets where you're just having like 2 meals a day and that's about it. At least have 3 meals, and you can always go up to 4 meals, 5 meals, etc. Okay, have the same lunch and dinner. In case you do not really have any time in a day, then you can maybe repeat your lunch and dinner. That way also you will make sure that at least the amount of protein, carbohydrate, fat which you should be having, you are planning your plate likewise. And lastly, having energy bars. You can always make your homemade laddus at home, not buying the packaged food because that comes with a lot of preservatives, and that we do not really want right now because we want to be at the best of our health. So make like homemade energy bars which are like easily poppable. I mean, you can just make it and keep it for the entire month. It also gives you instant energy, and it also gives the glucose to your brain which you require instantly. So have it, okay, but make it at home. Okay, so that is about it. A healthy lifestyle isn't about what you lose, it's about what you gain. This is the quote for today. So, what I would like to say is at the end of it that we have given you enough guidelines. Now, whatever the thing it has to be done is it has to be done by you. So don't really overexert your body and don't really go for the fancy things just because you have seen on the social media. Also about the vaccination, also about the COVID-19, just because you have read something or heard from anybody, don't really go behind it. Always take the professional help because that's something which is really important. And also don't overload your body with something which really is not really required in so much of a quantity. Just because you have known from anybody, don't overdo something that is not really going to be helpful. So this is about it from the presentation. Now if anybody has a question.
Thank you, Miss Ikta.
Thank you so
Hello.
much, sir.
It's very nice deliver on the topic of nutrition self-management the pandemic situation. Nice. Then now, before I conclude of your deliver, I would like to invite all the listeners for clear of their difficulties and the doubt from the nutrition during the pandemic. So now I open to the audience for asking some question.
I think there are already some questions in the chat box, so maybe I'll just take them.
Madam Savita, please read one by one question to the speaker, Ms. Kundu, and then Ms. Kundu will be answering all proper answering from the panel. This one, come on, please, Madam.
Okay, sure, sir. Ma'am, there are 4 questions from 2 participants. Shall I read the questions?
Yes, ma'am, you can.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So first question is from Kombrailapam Vidyarani. The first question is, I'm a vegetarian for the last few years. Many said that it will deteriorate my health as no enough protein supplement has been provided to the body. But I'm very fit and healthy. My question is how to deal with the people who always thought that only meat give them protein. Shall
Okay.
I continue? Ma'am, shall I continue the second question from the same person?
Yes, yes.
Okay, another question is, what is the difference between complete and incomplete proteins? And what supplements or diet should be given to a person who has low metabolism rate in order to increase it?
Okay.
So these are the 2 questions from the same person.
Yeah, okay, fine. Thank you so much, Vidya Rani, for the question. So yes, that is always in a debate that, vegetarian people feel that they are not getting enough protein and non-vegetarian people only get enough protein. So there are 2 things to, look at this question. Firstly is, see, any non-vegetarian source of a protein, which either could be a fish, meat, egg, or chicken or anything. So we are also animals, and that is also coming from an animal. So our body is able to accept the non-vegetarian protein. Bioavailability of the non-vegetarian protein is more higher than a vegetarian source of a protein, because any animal can eat another animal, right? That is why our metabolism is going to accept it very correctly. Okay, in a vegetarian source of a protein, for example, if you take like 100 grams of a dal, you are only going to get somewhere around like 10 grams of a protein. Okay, 10 to 12 grams of a protein, somewhere like that. So the bioavailability from a vegetarian source of a protein is very lower than a non-vegetarian source of a protein. But 100 grams of a chicken will have at least like 40 to 50, I think 70 grams of the protein in it. So you can understand the bioavailability. But yes, see, being a vegetarian is totally by your choice. One thing is the vegetarians definitely face this issue that the availability, the correct kind of the protein they might not get in a vegetarian source. But there is no wrong in in being a vegetarian. You can still get your proteins from all the sources like your sprouts, dals, then your soya, then you have tofu, paneer, milk sources. Nothing like that you will not get the source of the protein, and it's absolutely fine. There are a lot of vegetarians who are fit even being having all the sources of the vegetarian source of protein, and nothing like they have to go only non-veg to become fit. So yes, the next time when they if they really ask you, you show them that what are the sources of the protein which really have in the vegetarian for the vegetarian people. And maybe but honestly speaking, this will always be a debate for everyone. I mean, over the years, even when we work with a lot of people, they will always think that only non-vegetarian food is the protein, and there is no vegetarian source as such. So yeah, another question which you asked, like what supplements or diet should be given to a person for low metabolism? Well, firstly, you have to understand that what is the thing which is causing the low metabolism, okay? Because there are range of things which happens in a person's human's body. So firstly, to identify that what is the thing which is not really working for them in terms of lower metabolism, things like conjugated linoleic acid, then CLA, ALA, all of these things basically improve the metabolism from a supplement perspective. Then if you ask me from the food perspective, then there is lemon water, green tea, cinnamon powder, apple cider vinegar. There are a lot of things which basically boosts the person's metabolism. If you just not look only at the food, just by having like small and frequent meals also increases the metabolism of a person. So there is range of things. Firstly, identify that what is the cause of the issue, and then maybe giving the correct suggestion would be good. So yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So I hope the questions are satisfactorily answered. So, sir, ma'am, another participant also asked two more questions. First question is from Thangzam Meda Devi, and the first question is, which food are to be avoided just after vaccination during this BVIC time? This is the first question.
Okay.
Shall I read the second question after
Yes.
giving answer?
Yes. Okay. So basically, what are the foods I already showed you in the presentation that just don't have so much of caffeinated beverages and all of that. So just because you have got vaccinated, I am seeing in the social media that a lot of people are celebrating just because they have got vaccinated. They are going to party or maybe ordering stuff from outside, just having it as a celebration that okay, just because we all are at home, we do not really go and gel up with outside people and all of that. So they are taking this as a mode of their taking out all their happiness. I understand that, but that is not the right thing to do. After the vaccination, at least for 3 days, you should be at complete rest. Avoid as much as possible the outside food, packaged food, then caffeinated beverages, carbonated beverages, like all of those things. Have very simple sort of a food which is easily digestible by the body, because this is something it's like very normal. Like when in the childhood also we used to get vaccinated, we used to get a sort of a pain in the body and all of that. We used to just but that time we never used to have the outside food and all that, because that time only children used to get vaccinated. Now every other person is getting vaccinated, so we are adults, so we can take our decision to party. That's not the right thing. So you should be at rest and just have very normal simple food. Do not have a lot of packaged and outside or the processed food for that matter. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. As we have mentioned that after vaccination, many people are celebrating eating pizzas and these unhealthy diets, thinking that after vaccination we will not die like that, as if it
Yes.
is an assurance. So everybody is
Yes.
enjoying life like this. So this is very useful information from you, ma'am, and everybody will be very benefited from this information. Thank you, ma'am. And the second question from the same person, Thangzam Meda Devi, is it harmful to eat pulses 4 or 5 times in a week during COVID time when we don't get fresh vegetables?
Okay. Okay. So when you do not get fresh vegetables, eat your pulses every day. Okay, because pulses have something which is called as the proteins in them. Okay, and it also has so much of essential amino acids in them. Okay, so a combination of a pulse and a carbohydrate like a rice or something always goes well, because there are certain essential amino acids which are not present in the pulse, and there are certain which are not present in the rice. So combination of both always goes really, really well. So when you do not get so much of fresh vegetable, have your pulses every day. Why 4 to 5 times? Have it all the 7 days. That's very useful and important.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And ma'am, another last question is from Dr. Ingudam Jamuna Devi. The question is, what are the benefits and non-benefits of consuming brown rice to human health? This is the question.
All right. So, see, brown rice overall, if you see the marketing strategies, people always say that it's very healthy, very healthy. The basic difference between a white rice and the brown rice is the content of the fiber. Okay. If you see nutritionally, the amount of carbohydrate, protein, fat, and all that is completely the same as white rice. But the only difference in the brown rice is the amount of fiber. So, when you have a higher amount of fiber, that is useful for a person who wants to maintain their weight or lose their weight, like that. So you can totally go for the brown rice for that option. Not only that, because it has lots of fiber, so the body requires more time to digest the fiber and the whole brown rice, break it down and all of that. So it has a complex digestion system. It is a complex carbohydrate. But in case of white rice, that does not really happen, because that is a simple carbohydrate, so it quickly gets absorbed in the body. So if you are a person who wants to get fit or maybe improve metabolism and all of those things, lose weight and all of that, so you should always choose for the brown rice. But yes, a lot of people who are underweight, it may not be really helpful for them, because they do not really need a complex carbohydrate option, rather a simple carbohydrate option. So white rice could be a good for a person who wants to gain weight or maybe very lean, do not really have to have the brown rice. A lot of so brown rice as such cannot it's not like it does not have, it cannot be non-beneficial for anyone. But yes, according to person, you can choose the kind of rice you want to give. As such, brown rice do not really have a lot of non-beneficial effects as such. So yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. And this information regarding the brown rice will clarify the doubts of many people, because nowadays, as a fashion,
Yes.
yeah, so many people are becoming very conscious, and as a fashion, they wanted to opt for brown rice rather than the white rice. So the information given by you, it will be very useful to clarify the wrong concept for the brown rice here. Thank you very much, ma'am. So that is there was the last question, ma'am. There was the last question. So thank you once again, ma'am. Over to you, Sir Santosh.
Ma'am, oh, Madam Suvita,
Yes, sir.
two more questions are come. Two more questions are come. Just check it's your WhatsApp. They're sending to WhatsApp to your WhatsApp, I think. Some of the participants written two questions in WhatsApp. Please, Madam.
Yes, sir. Two more questions. Madam Ikta, shall I read the question?
Yes, ma'am.
First question is from Okram Parlin. And the question is, can branch chain amino acids help an athlete at all?
That's
Then
it.
shall I repeat the question?
No, I have got it.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
So basically, branched-chain amino acid is a combination of leucine, isoleucine, and valine. So that is the combination which comes in the BCAA. So yes, definitely, it really helps in any athlete. Okay, for that matter, mostly any person who is into a lot of fitness does a lot of workout on a daily basis and breaks down a lot of muscles. For that recovery, the BCAA is very much important. So whenever you do any sort of a workout, we are going to break down a lot of muscles in that process. And in that muscles, obviously there is a combination of amino acids, which of course breaks down. It's muscle is the whole factor, but what we break down is the amino acids in it. So yes, these BCAA is very much important, especially if you are an athlete, because the calorie expenditure or the amount of workout you do on a daily basis is very, very high. So definitely it is very much essential. But yes, again, before taking any sort of a supplement, always see that whether if there is a requirement or not. Just because you have known that okay, it is helpful, you cannot just take the supplement that way. Okay, so if there is a requirement with proper professional guidelines, you take the supplement. That's about it. Yeah.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for giving very clear information. And the next question is from the same person, Okram Parlin. The question is, during this pandemic situation, I have started running at least 3 kilometers daily, but I hardly get enough fresh fruit and vegetables. So what will be the essential diet to keep our body from damaging physical chains? This is the question, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So basically, this is not only because you are not getting the enough fruit and vegetable. Okay. The important thing, what makes your any sort of a workout more effective, is a during workout solution. It's not the amount of fruit or vegetable you are getting, because that is not something you are going to have or consume during the workout session. So any electrolyte solution, okay, for that matter, is something which you have to look on. Why? Because there is a reason that when you work out, you sweat out a lot, and in the sweat, so why is your sweat salty? Because you are going to lose a lot of potassium and sodium from the body. 5:1 is the ratio of your sodium to potassium what you lose in per hour of your workout. So what you have to do is take a during workout solution, which could be any simple like a lemon water, coconut water. All of these things are your very simple, which can be doable at home workout solution. Okay, so take it, and if you do not have anything, just have like normal plain water. Even normal plain water also comes with a lot of nutrients in them. Okay, so take it with you and sip it while you are working out. Have a good source of protein and a carbohydrate once you finish with the workout. I'm sure then whatever you said is will be taken care of. It's not because of the fruit and vegetable, it's because of the electrolyte or the during workout solution which you have to focus on. So yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. And the information is very relevant during this pandemic situation, because all of us have a fear that we won't be able to get proper vitamins when we don't get fresh fruits and vegetables during this situation. So all the informations are very useful to us, ma'am. Thank you. And ma'am, another information is from Chanamthabam Rudrazit. Asking about, ma'am, any suggestions on essential diets to cope with stress, depression, and anxiety?
Okay.
It's a very relevant question, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So I think one slide I already showed about the stress factor, like, some superfoods which are going to really help you in managing your stress. Now, again, okay, so stress is again a very, vast, topic. First, you have to identify that what are the causes of your stress, okay? Because you could be stressed just because of, the temporary situation, just because somebody has died in your family, something like that. Okay, first identify that what is the stress and how frequently, or maybe if it is a recurring thing, or maybe it is a long term thing which is happening to you. So firstly is identifying your stress, and honestly speaking, only nutrition won't really help you just to beat your stress, but a lot of other factors, like when you do a lot of physical activity, your mood busters basically are going to get secreted in the body. Okay, your serotonin levels and all that go really high, which basically helps you in managing your stress levels. Not only that, listening to your favorite music, or maybe listening to some music which makes you release out the stress, some yoga and all of those things also really help. So it's about the whole lifestyle. Yes, from the food perspective, if you ask me, things like walnuts, then milk, then poppy seeds, then your chamomile tea, your sunflower seeds, all of those things really help in boosting the serotonin levels in the body, and that is when you are going to have a good sleep. Okay, but like as I said, it's not only about the nutrition, but it's about an overall lifestyle, identifying the stress, and like firstly is the motivation that you have to come out of the stress is something which you have to deal with, and then take these smaller steps to beat your stress. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. The information about the answer is satisfactory, and thank you very much once again, ma'am, for giving a very nice deliberation and the very excellent informations about all the questions, and giving us a lot of information about the simple diet pattern of simple, and again food to be eaten during this COVID-19, which are easily available at our home, as well as the very important point which you have mentioned is about the home workout for burning the calories, about the mopping, sweeping, gardening, watering. All those are very information, very good information to us, and everybody can enjoy that one at home. And another one.
So I am leaving my contact details in the chat box. So if anybody wants to connect with me after the session, okay, if anybody has a query or something like that, so you can connect with me on this phone number. So if
This phone number. So kind of, so everybody need it. And because during this situation, everybody is suffering from anxiety, depression, grief, sorrows, everything. And some of the participants also mentioned about there is no fresh fruits and vegetables, whether we can consume the other things, grains and the cereals every day. So these are many things. So many people will love to talk with you. So thank you for sharing your number also. And thank you, ma'am, once again for giving a lot of good informations to us, which is relevant to this situation. Thank you once again, ma'am. Over to you, Sir Santosh.
Okay, madam. Now I request to the moderator, Professor T. Inaubi Singh, please summarize today's session. Please, sir. Professor Inaubi. Professor Inaubi. Sainobi. Okay, he might be some problem of the network. Okay, anyway. So nutrition is one of the very good tool for shaping our whole career of our humanities now. Thank you so much. So as we know from this session, from nutrition is one of the good healthy diets if you get throughout the whole lifestyles, and life can promote and healthy all the outcomes in the lifestyles now, and support the normal growth and development, and extend our aging process, and to help maintain our healthy life, and then body weights, and then reduce our whole kind of the chronic disease also, and then overall health promoting and well-being our lifestyle. Thank you so much for this regarding sessions of the nutrition and self-management during the pandemic. Thank you. Now coming to the closing part, coming to the end part. So I would like to propose my vote of thanks to the panelists and all the participants and everyone from the sincere and behalf of our Fit India Campaign Committee and Fit India Club of the Manipur University. We like to propose a vote of thanks to the panelists. Firstly, Speaker Ms. Ikta Kundu. Thank you so much for sharing your experience, for sharing your valuable times and information regarding nutrition during these pandemic, very rare times. Okay, very thank you so much for your knowledge expertise regarding nutrition. Thank you so much. And I want to propose a vote of thanks to the moderator, Professor T. Inaubi Singh, co-moderator, Dr. K. Subita, I thank you so much for your controlling sessions very nicely, smoothly, and grand success for these sessions, nutrition and self-management during pandemic. Thank you, moderator and co-moderators. And thank you, our Manipur University Authority, our Vice Chancellors, and then our Manipur University Registrar to support the grand success of the series of national talks, starting from still without any problem from 25 to 4 June today. Thank you so much, our authority, Manipur University also. And thank you so much for our chairman, both the chairman of the Fit India Campaign Committee chairman, Fit India Club chairman. I thank you so much for your backbone supporting role for this successful our series of nation talk. Okay, thank you so much, our board chairman also. And thank you all the participants for your patience of your listening, patience of your support and motivation for giving this all kind of setups in the Manipur University Fit India Campaign Committee and organizer and Fit India Club, everything now. Thank you all the learned member, teaching staff, and then non-teaching staff, and then all the students, everyone, good listener, everyone, all the viewers. Thank you so much from the side of the Manipur University Fit India Campaign Committee and Fit India Club. And then thank you, our Mami TV, for sharing our live stream to all over the Manipur and our outside the Manipur, all session of the our national series of talk also. Thank you so much, Mami TV, as a partner of the media. Thank you so much. And lastly, I thanks our webmaster of Manipur University, especially Irembam, our Tilok-san. Thank you so much for your patience, for your support from the starting up till today. Without any facing the problem, I thank you so much, our webmaster, our Tilok-san. Thank you so much. And then so I said thanks everyone. Ikta, all the our moderators and co-moderators, everyone. Thank you so much. So from the bottom of my heart, we see you again in the next series of National Talks. Saying thank you so much. Bye bye, everyone. See you. Bye. All the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.